Slightly higher than the four great heavenly kings, the next realm is the Tavatimsa heaven. This is the heaven of the 33 gods. Why is it called the heaven of the 33 gods? Because these 33 gods rule that heaven. And the king is called Sakka Devaraja. Cantonese we call it Yok Wong Tai Tai. Thi Kong in Hokkien. In this heaven, one celestial day is 100 human years. And their lifespan is 1,000 celestial years. That means 36 million human years, so long. And these devas here look very beautiful and young. They look maybe like a 16-year-old. And until they die, after 36 million human years, until they die, they still remain like that. Remain so young. They still look so young. And the devas there are spontaneously reborn. Immediately, if you are destined to be reborn there, the moment you die here, you reappear there. And then if you reappear in heaven, within the boundary of Devaraja, you either become his son or his wife. So these devas, because their blessing is so great that they have a lot of wives. Now in this Tavatimsa heaven, there is another type of devas called Asuras. And these Asuras, they once a year, it seems, probably heavenly year, they fight with these 33 gods, because they were formerly in that heaven. It seems because these Asuras, they have a nature of fighting, and they also like to get drunk. And one day when they were drunk, they were thrown out of that heaven. It seems they fell into the ocean. They go and fight with these 33 gods once a year. And this story is not only in Buddhism, it's also in Hinduism. And there is a similar thing in the Bible also. In the Bible it's mentioned that Michael the archangel fought with Satan and chased him out of heaven. This probably comes from the same source, because some of these holy men, they practice until they can attain deep states of concentration where they have psychic power to look into the heaven and see. But over the years, these stories can get distorted. So, in this heaven, in these heavens, you also have animals, like it is mentioned that one day Sakka Devaraja went riding on his horse. He has a chariot pulled by 1,000 white horses, and these white horses can fly. So one day he was spotted by these Asuras, and these Asuras chased him. So he has a driver by the name of Matali. He asked this, and this Matali was driving very fast. But they were driving so fast, they were about to hit some trees with the bird's nest there and young birds there. And this Sakka Devaraja, because he's such a good man, he told his driver to avoid hitting the birds and killing the birds. He said, turn around. So the 1,000 horses just turned around. And then when these Asuras saw him turning around, they thought must be other devas coming from behind, and the Asuras ran away. Now, some of these devas here can be quite huge. It is mentioned that there was some deva who came to see the Buddha, and the body was as big as 2 or 3 village fields, probably rice fields or something. And there is one Asura by the name of Rahu, who is very huge. It seems he's so huge that when sometimes he goes in front of the moon, he can almost eclipse the moon. And one day, this Asura Rahu, he caught the moon deva by the name of Chandima. He wanted to maybe kill and eat this Chandima, this deva on the moon. And this deva on the moon, he shouted to call the Buddha for help. So when the Buddha knew, the Buddha immediately asked this Asura Rahu to let the moon deva loose. So because he's compassionate, he wants to help this deva. So this Rahu immediately released the moon Deva, went back to his heaven and he was shivering all over. And the Asura king asked him, why are you shivering? He said, just now he related what happened. He said, if he had not released that moon Deva, his head would have split into 7 pieces. Which is possible because when the Buddha says something, you cannot change his words. Now, in the suttas, it is mentioned that once in a while, the 33 gods will meet. They have what they all committee having this meeting tonight. So they also have their committee meeting. 33 gods will meet, and when the 33 gods meet, then these 4 great heavenly kings have to come and report to them. For example, what is happening in the human realm, and these 33 gods will be sitting in the seats. And these 4 great heavenly kings, when they come to the 33 gods, they have to stand out of respect. They have no place to sit. They have to stand out of respect for the 33 gods. And sometimes when the 33 gods are meeting, Brahma, Pantin Wong, Brahma, the Deva, will come. When Brahma, this heavenly Deva comes, from far they can see a ball of light, a shining ball of light flying very fast towards them. And then these 33 gods know that Brahma is coming. They quickly stand out of respect. And then, if he wants to talk with a particular Deva, he'll come in front of that Deva. Then he'll change his form from a ball of light, and he'll change to appear like a 33, one of the 33 gods. He'll take that form. And then he'll talk with them. And they have to stand out of respect when they talk to him. And after talking with them, then he will fly off again as a ball of light. Now it is mentioned in the Sakkapanha Sutta that some of these devas they still have a bit of dukkha, in the sense that they can be jealous. For example, this is mentioned here that this Deva Panchasika, he fell in love with a Devi, but the Devi wasn't interested in him. So this kind of thing can also happen. So he had to get the help of the Deva Raja to get that Devi. And Sakka Deva Raja, he came to see the Buddha and he listened to the Dhamma, and it's mentioned that he became a Sotapanna. He's also an Arya. Now this Sakka Deva Raja, his blessings is so great that he has a palace called the Vejayanta Palace, mentioned in the Majjhima Nikaya, Sutta 37. And this palace has 100 towers, 100 towers. And each tower has 700 upper chambers. And each upper chamber has 7 Devis, his wives. 7 Devis in each upper chamber. If you calculate, that means he has 490,000 wives, Devis. And each of his wives has 7 maids to look after each of his wives. So you see, his blessings is so great. So if you are interested to know how to become Sakka Deva Raja, I tell you the formula here. It is mentioned by the Buddha that when Sakka Deva Raja was a man, he practiced 7 things that helped him become Sakka Deva Raja. One was, he said, as long as I live, he said, as long as he lives, he will support and take good care of his parents. Number 2, he will revere the head of the family. He will respect the head of the family. Number 3, he wants to be very generous. He's a very generous person. And then number 4, he never wants to be angry. No matter what happens, he's never angry. And then another 3 things concern speech. One is he will always speak gentle speech, never coarse speech, never angry speech. Another one, he always speak truthfully, never tell lies. Another one, the last one, he doesn't carry tales to cause people to quarrel or fight. He's not a malicious tale bearer. So he practiced these 7 things. Looked after his parents. He respect the families. Then he's very generous. He's never angry. Always speaks gentle speech. Speaks truthfully and never carry tales to make quarrel. And the Sakadeva Raja also presently he's always constantly keeping the 8 precepts, and he always advised his devas also, other devas, to keep the 8 precepts. And this Sakadeva Raja, one day in one sutta is mentioned that he came out of his palace to go go out, and he paid homage to the 4 directions. And his driver asked him, Deva Raja, he said, human beings and other beings pay homage to you. Who are you paying homage to? Then he said he's paying homage to the Aryas, those people who cultivate the spiritual path. And secondly, he said he pays homage to all the good men, the good laymen who are very responsible, who take care of their families and keep the precepts, etc. So you see, even Sakadeva Raja also pay respect to some of you. Good laymen. So if you keep your precepts, one day you can join him up there. Now, this Anuruddha, Arahant Anuruddha, has very great psychic power. And one day, one of his former wives, also from this heaven of the 33, by the name of Jalini, came to see him. And this wife probably was longing for him and wanted him to be reborn in heaven. But he told the wife that he's finished with rebirth. How come this wife would come and see him? Because this heaven, one day is 100 human years. So he was in the heaven of the 33, he died, passed away from there, and he came to the earth maybe after, say for example, 40 years, he's an Arahant, 40 years old. But at 40 years old is only half a day in the heaven, not even half a day. So the wife, after half a day, looking for him, found him in the human plane. So could still come and talk to him. In another sutta, this Anuruddha one day was visited by several very beautiful Devis. And these Devis of beautiful form, they had a few abilities. One, they could be as happy as they wanted any moment. Another thing was they could make any kind of music they wanted immediately. And then the third thing was they could change their color. So they came to talk to this Arahant Anuruddha, and they told him that this ability they have. And then they changed their color. Some of them were blue, all blue. Some were white, some were... And he was looking at them, appreciating their beautiful colors. And after that, they played music for him, all kinds of heavenly music. But then, being an Arahant, he knew how to control himself. So they thought, he's not enjoying our music, so they went off. Now these devas, normally they die when their karmic, their blessings as a deva is completed. They've used up their karma as a deva, and then they die off and take rebirth. But it is mentioned sometimes they can die because of forgetting to eat, They enjoy themselves so much and they forget to eat. Every living being must eat, And even these devas also, they have to eat, but they eat different things. But they enjoy so much, they forgot to eat, then they die. Another way they can die, it seems, is they can be over angry. Because they have very fine bodies, and they become too angry, their body cannot take it. So suddenly they die. That's the peculiarity. Sometimes as human beings we get too angry, so we get a headache. Now, the heaven above them is the Yama Devas, those who have attained to divine bliss, as mentioned. They have a lifespan of 2,000 celestial years, equivalent to 144 million human years. It is not mentioned much in the suttas about them. Then above them is the Tusita heavens. They are the contented Devas. And usually the Buddha to be is reborn there, the Bodhisattva is reborn there. There, their lifespan is 4,000 celestial heavenly years, equivalent to 576 million human years. And then the fifth heaven in the central realm is the Nimanarati Devas, Devas delighting in creation. Why are they called Devas delighting in creation? Because their blessings is so great, they can wish for anything, it will appear. They think, long time I haven't taken ice cream, and suddenly ice cream or whatever. They're longing for a girlfriend will appear. Longing for a boyfriend will appear. And there, their lifespan is 8,000 celestial years, equivalent to 2,304 million human years. And then above them is the Paranimitta Vasavati Devas. These are the Devas wielding power over others' creations. In other words, they probably use the Devas from the fifth heaven to do things for them, create things for them, whatever they do. And there, their lifespan is 16,000 celestial years or heavenly years, equivalent to 9,216 million human years. And in this realm, there are a few like sultans, kings. One of them is Mara. Mara is our Mo Wong. And this Mo Wong, actually his blessings is very great. He probably could be somebody who practiced the holy path before, but because of the ego, he couldn't get rid of the ego, so he's reborn there. And because his ego is so big, if he finds somebody like Jesus or the Buddha practicing the spiritual path so well that they are about to be enlightened, then he cannot sit still, he'll come and disturb them, obstruct them. You don't want them to be greater than him. We have not come to that level where we can attract his attraction, can attract him, his attention. The Mara inside us, inside our mind, already caught him. Take care of it. And this Mara can be very, obstructive, He can influence monks to obstruct them from practicing the holy path. He can influence them to commit suicide, etc. And then the Buddha mentioned the only way actually we can overcome Mara is to attain jhana. If we attain a state of one-pointedness of mind, our mind is so strong, Mara cannot influence us. When you are in the state of jhana, the state of one-pointedness of mind, Buddha said you are beyond the vision of Mara. Mara cannot see you. So this is a description of the 6 heavenly realms above our human plane, all in the central realm. I know of a Buddhist in Penang. When he was dying, the neighbors, he was dying of cancer. So the neighbors were Christians. So the wife went out to market, so asked this old couple, Christians, to look after him. And then only after his funeral, they related. It seems that they saw these devas, heavenly beings, coming in through the window, making offerings to him. That means this man was going to be reborn in heaven. Now we come to the Rupa Bhava, the form existence. This form existence, there are 16 planes. To be reborn in this form existence, this form realm, is called form realm because they are very fine material form. Very fine material form. And to be reborn here, you need to attain jhana, one-pointedness of mind, state of deep concentration. And if a person attains these states of deep concentration, the lust goes off, anger goes off. So these beings here, they are not interested in sex because the bliss of jhana, bliss of meditation is much higher. So all the devas here are unisex. Unisex. They are just, their form is like the Brahma, a ball of light. The mind is so powerful, they are just a ball of light. But because the mind is powerful, they can change their form whenever they want. The lowest is the first jhana. First jhana, if first people who attain the first jhana can be reborn in this first jhana realm. This first jhana, there are 3 planes. The lowest one is called the retinue of Brahma. Then after that, higher is the ministers of Brahma. Then after that is the great Brahma. And the lifespan of the great Brahma is 1 world cycle. 1 world cycle. These beings, these Brahmas, their light is so powerful. They have control over 1,000 world systems. Their light can shine 1,000 stars. 1,000 world systems. And some of them can be 2,000, 3,000, up to 100,000 worlds. Their light can shine. Their power extends up to 100,000 world systems. But some of them, because their lifespan is so long, they have wrong view. They think that they are eternal, they'll never die. And the Buddha in the suttas, the Buddha has gone to see some of them. And the reason the Buddha goes and see a particular deva is because of affinity from the past life. For example, in a past life, the Buddha was an ascetic, and he had a teacher who was reborn in that realm, and then he'll go and convert his wrong view. And it's mentioned that these devas, they think their power depends on their brightness, And some of them, the brighter they are, the more powerful they are. Now, above that is the second jhana heavens. There are 3 levels also. The lowest is called the devas of limited radiance. And then the middle one is the devas of unbounded radiance. Then after that, the devas of streaming radiance, Abhasara. And it's mentioned that these devas are alike in body but different in perception. And their lifespan is 2 kapas, 2 world cycles. And this second jhana is a state of great concentration. And they are so happy there that they keep exclaiming, "Oh happiness, oh happiness!" They're so happy. They don't need anything to entertain them. The happiness is from inside because of cultivating jhana. They just keep exclaiming, "Oh happiness, oh happiness!" And then the Buddha mentioned that when world systems collapse, beings are reborn here in the Abhasara heaven, the second jhana realm. That means the second jhana realm, they are higher than this 1,000-fold world system, because it is mentioned that the Buddha said world systems expand and contract. So what is meant is that these stars, for example, 1,000 stars, they make up a galaxy. What we call a galaxy is called by the Buddha a small 1,000-fold world system. And these stars, scientists now see that these stars are expanding from each other and moving away from each other. But the scientists don't know whether they keep on moving forever or they will come to a stop. But the Buddha said you will come to a limit, and then after that it will contract. And then when they contract, these stars come closer and closer and closer and closer together. The time will come, now we see one star, one sun in our world. Later, a second sun will appear, When the second sun appears, the world is coming to an end. After a long time, a third sun will appear, a fourth sun, until 7 suns appear, then the world will burst into flames and completely extinguish. So to my reckoning, this is talking about the 1,000-fold world system. These 1,000 stars come together. So this second jhana realm, they are beyond this 1,000 world system. That's why they are not affected when all these stars burn. These stars will probably burn and form together and come together and form what we call the black hole. In science they call the black hole. Black hole is not nothing, it is such a big solid mass that it attracts everything that flies near it. And after a long time it will explode and the world will form again in a cycle. Then we come to the third jhana. Third jhana, there are also 3 levels. The lowest is the devas of limited glory or limited beauty. Then the second is the devas of unbounded glory. Then after that, the devas of refulgent glory. Here their lifespan is 4 world cycles. And they experience such great bliss that no word can come out of them. They are so blissful that they cannot speak of it also. And then we come to the 4th jhana plane. This 4th jhana plane, there are 7 levels. The lowest one is the devas of great fruit. Here, their lifespan is 500 world cycles. You see, the previous one was only 4 world cycles. Suddenly, it's 500 world cycles, because the 4th jhana is very difficult to attain. 500 world cycles. And then after that is the asanya satta, unconscious beings, beings without perception and feeling. They just have a body, a huge body without consciousness. That is not a good existence. Then after that, there are 5 levels of heavens called the Suddhavasa, pure abodes. Now these 5 levels of heavens, only anagamins, third fruit Aryas can be reborn there. And if you are reborn there, you will never come back to the human realm again. Never be reborn in the human realm again. So the disciples of the Buddha who attain the third fruit, Arya fruit, they are reborn there. But some of them, they come back to see the Buddha. It is mentioned in the suttas that one of his disciples, Anagamin disciples, just after passing away, reborn there, he came to see the Buddha. But because that heaven, their body is so fine and so huge, when he came back to see the Buddha, our world is so coarse that he couldn't stand up, It was like something very soft, it just fell on the ground, So he didn't know what to do, So the Buddha had to tell him. The Buddha said, make your body coarse, make your body gross. So because his mind is so strong, he made his body like hard. And then he could stand up and talk to the Buddha. So these 5 levels of anagamins, some of these anagamins, third fruit Aryas, some of them are born at the lowest level. Then after passing away from here, they go to another level. Passing away from here, another level. So they go to 5 heavens before they enter Nibbana. Some of them, they go to four of these heavens and then they enter Nibbana. Some go to 3, some go to 2, some go to 1 and then enter Nibbana. So these are the devas of the 5 material form. 16 altogether, 16 planes. Then the highest heaven is the Arupa Bhava, formless, what we call the formless realm. There are 4 planes corresponding to the 4 Arupa jhanas, people who attain the states of formless jhana. The first one are those attained by people who attain the lowest arupa jhana, which is the sphere of infinite space. The mind opens up like an infinite space. If you are reborn there, your lifespan is 20,000 world cycles, so long, 20,000 world cycles. Then slightly higher is the Devas of the sphere of infinite consciousness, where the lifespan is 40,000 world cycles. And then above that is the Devas of the sphere of nothingness. The lifespan is 60,000 world cycles. And then above that is the Devas of the sphere of neither perception nor non-perception. It's not mentioned their lifespan, maybe 80,000 world cycles. Why is it called neither perception nor non-perception? Because their consciousness is about, so fine, it's about to go off. If it goes off, that means they enter Nibbana. It's like a flame about to go off. Sometimes it's like there is perception, sometimes there is no perception. And that's why it's called neither perception nor non-perception. Now, according to some books, although they are called formless realm, it doesn't mean they have no form altogether. Their form is so fine and so huge that even other devas cannot see them. That's why they are called formless. It also mentioned that anagamins can be reborn there. So that completes the 30 planes of existence. It is mentioned in the Digha Nikaya how the world begins, in the Aganya Sutta. I won't go into the details here. It is also mentioned in the Anguttara Nikaya 7.62 how the world ends. I also won't mention this here. Now, there are some important things I like to say here. This one is that most beings are reborn after we pass away. Most beings are reborn into the three woeful planes. As I mentioned earlier, this world beings are like in a pyramid. The higher you go, the less beings. The lower, the more. So the Buddha said, just like in India, the inhabited areas, that was 2,500 years ago, inhabited areas are much more than the uninhabited areas of India are much more than the inhabited areas. So in the same way, the beings who are reborn as human beings or as devas are few compared to those who go to the woeful planes of rebirth. Now, in another sutta, it is mentioned that why people are reborn in the woeful planes is because of failure in morals, failure in mind, and failure in view. These three things also means the 7 evil karmas that people do. These 7 evil karmas I mentioned in the Majjhima Nikaya Saleyyaka Sutta. 10 evil karmas and 10 good karmas. These 10 are broken up into body karma, verbal karma, and mental karma. The 3 body karmas that we can do are the 3 evil body karmas. One is killing, using the body. We can kill, we can steal, we can commit adultery. These are the 3 evil body karmas. And then verbal evil karma. First one is to lie. Another one is to carry tales to cause people to quarrel. You hear A talking bad about B, then another day you go and tell B, A said such and such a thing, and then B will go and quarrel with A. So that is malicious tale bearing. The third one is coarse speech, harsh speech, scolding people, using bad words and all that. The fourth one is idle gossip, wasting time, idle gossip. And then the 3 evil mental karmas. The first one is covetousness, wanting other people's property, greed for other people's property. Another one is malice or malevolence, having a lot of ill will, always angry with people, angry nature, hateful nature. The third one is wrong view. Wrong view. Wrong view means not believing in karma, not believing that there's another world when we die, not believing that there are holy men who are enlightened, who know the true nature of the world, etc. In the Anguttara Nikaya, it is mentioned there are 3 bases of merit: dana, sila, and bhavana. Dana is charity. Sila is keeping the precepts, like moral conduct. Bhavana is meditation, developing the mind. It is mentioned that people who do charity and keep the precepts to a small degree, when they pass away, it is very likely that they will come back as a human being with not much blessings. They are poor, difficult to find a living, and they might be misshapen, they might be half blind or something. And then people who do charity and keep the precepts to a medium degree, very likely they come back as a human being with a lot of blessings. Born in a good family, rich family, easy to make money, born handsome or beautiful, etc. And then if you do charity and keep your morality to a high degree, very likely you will be reborn as a deva, a heavenly being, where you enjoy life for a very, very long time. This also implies that if you don't do charity and don't keep your sila, you won't get the human body again, or deva body. You will be reborn as a ghost or animal or in hell. Now, the Buddha also said that if we keep the 8 precepts for lay people, you keep the 8 precepts regularly, once a week, the chances of being reborn in heaven are very great. In the Majjhima Nikaya, it is mentioned that if a person wants to have a good rebirth, it is possible if you have 5 conditions. First one is faith, Saddha, faith in the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. That means also faith in the Dhamma. Second one is virtue, morality. Third one is generosity or charity. Fourth one is wisdom. Fifth one is much learning or much knowledge of the Dhamma. You understand the Buddha's teachings, the nature of the world. So you have these 5 things. You can be reborn where you want. It is also mentioned in the suttas, these first 4, if 2 persons want to be reborn together, for example, husband and wife, these 4 things must be the same. Faith, you have the same faith, same religion. Second one, the same virtue. Either you are just as virtuous or just as corrupt. The third one, generosity. Either just as generous or just as selfish. The fourth one, wisdom. Just as wise or just as stupid. These 4 things will be born together. Now this charity, sometimes people don't understand the importance of charity. I read to you what the Buddha says. The Buddha said, monks, if beings knew, as I know, the result of giving and sharing, they would not eat without having given, nor would the taint of miserliness overcome and stay in their minds. Even if it were their last morsel, their last mouthful, they would not eat without having someone to share it with. But monks, because beings do not know, as I know, the result of giving and sharing, they eat without having given, and the taint of miserliness overcomes and stays in their minds. This is in the Iti Vuttaka, Sutta 26. Another thing I'd like to mention is that in the Bible, Jesus gave a parable of a rich man. He gave his sons money to do business, to make money. One son came back after some time, made a lot of money and gave the money to the father, and the father was very happy. He is a good son. Another one came back, lost all his money, went bankrupt. So the father said he's not a good son. Then the third one came back with the same amount of money the father gave him. He did not do anything with the money. He just kept the money one side and brought back the money. Father also scolded him. So this parable actually has a lesson. It is a good lesson. It is that when we come into life as a human being, we carry with us some blessings. This is our capital. Every one of us, reborn as a human being, we have quite a good amount of blessings to be reborn as a human being. And if we are very foolish, we lead a crooked life, we squander away these blessings. And then if you are going to be reborn in the woeful plains, you are like the person who went bankrupt, wasted all his money, lost all his money and got into debt some more. And then, if you come back as a human being, not too bad. But probably this parable is saying, it's still not good enough. You were a human being, you come back as a human being, didn't make much progress. Now in the Bible, Jesus taught people how to react if somebody is bad towards you. If a man slaps you on the left, Jesus said, offer him the right cheek. This is very difficult to do, as you find, even Christians, very few of them can do that. But the standard the Buddha gave in the suttas is much higher, In the Kakachupama Sutta, the Buddha said, if anybody says anything wrong towards you or does anything wrong towards you, you just have metta towards that person. Keep on having loving kindness towards person. Don't say any evil words. Just take it as, he didn't say exactly, but what he implies is we take it as our karma. We must have done something bad in the past that we deserve this now. That somebody is bad towards us. Just accept it and have goodwill towards that person. Don't say anything bad. Don't have any ill feelings towards him. And the Buddha said, if bandits were to catch you and cut you with a two-handled saw, cut away your hands, cut away your feet, and saw you in half, if you have any hatred towards them, you are not carrying out his teaching, the Buddha said. That is very difficult to do. If somebody were to murder you also, you don't have any ill feeling towards you. But that is the standard of the Buddha, because the Buddha understood karma, that whatever we get in life, that is our due, That is our due. And just take it that we are repaying back the karma. And that is a very high standard. But that type of standard, if we can practice it, then there will be no wars and all that in the world. Now there's another very important sutta called the Maha Kamma Vibhanga Sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya. The Buddha said, if a person dies and is reborn in heaven or in the woeful plains, it depends on a few conditions, For example, if a person is reborn in heaven, it's not necessarily always that in this life as a human being, he did a lot of good, Sometimes a person can be that in this life he did more evil than good. But because in some past life he has done a lot of good. At the moment when he's dying, he's thinking about that good that he has done in the previous life. And then he's reborn in heaven. Or the Buddha said, at the moment that person is dying, he has right view. He believes in karma. He believes that there are other worlds. When he dies, there's another world. So because he has right view, at the moment he dies, he goes to a good place of rebirth. And then the Buddha said, if a person is reborn in the woeful plane, it's not necessary that he did a lot of evil in that last life. It can be he might have done even more good than evil. But in some previous life, he still had not finished repaying that evil karma. So he thought of that evil in the previous life, and suddenly he has to go to the woeful plane. Or at the moment of dying, he has wrong view, totally don't believe in karma. Then he can also be reborn in a woeful plane. This is why right view is very important, right view. So we have to understand the suttas to get right view. Now, the Buddha said that those devas with very long lifespan, they think they are not going to die. But when the Buddha teachers taught the Dhamma in the world, and then they get to know that all beings must die, they tremble, they shake, and they realize that they are going to die one day. And when they die, they're going to come down, maybe take a woeful rebirth. So there are two types of blessings. One is worldly blessing, and another type is spiritual blessing. Worldly blessing means getting that blessing that will give us a good rebirth. And that is by doing charity and keeping the precepts, moral conduct. But if we want to get out of this cycle of rebirths, We need spiritual blessing. And spiritual blessing is practicing the spiritual path, listening to the Dhamma, meditating, renouncing our greed, hatred and delusion. That is a spiritual path. And that is most important thing to realize. That this world, the Buddha said, is unsatisfactory. One day you can be in heaven after millions of years. When your lifespan is about to end, the Buddha said, these devas, after millions of years in heaven, when their lifespan is about to die, they think, hey, there's still so many things to do, just like human beings. Human beings, when most of us, when we are about to die, I still have to do this, I still have to do that. Still the same with devas. When we enjoy life, even millions of years is not long enough. When you are suffering in hell, even one day is so long. So that's the end of this talk on the 30 planes of existence. In the sutras, the Buddha described the hells and all that, and he said, I'm telling you this not because I heard it from somebody, but because I've seen it myself and I know it myself, the Buddha said. And the Buddha also mentioned that this Yama, this Yen or Wang, that the king in hell, after seeing so much suffering in hell, he also hoped that one day he will get a human body, that he will hear the Dhamma, and he will strive to get out of samsara, the round of rebirths. So maybe formerly we were this king in the hell, now we have the human body, the chance to learn the Dhamma and strive to get out of samsara. There's this question about having done evil karma in the past and how to overcome it. It is by doing more good deeds now. In one of the discourses of the Buddha gave a simile. The Buddha said, in the days of the Buddha, salt was not so fine as nowadays. They had lumps of salt. So the Buddha said, suppose you take a lump of salt and you put it in a cup of water and you stir and then you drink the water, it is very salty, right? But if you took the same lump of salt and you put it into the river water and you stirred the river water and you drank the river water, it is not salty, right? Why? Because the river contained a lot of water compared to the water in the cup, right? So the Buddha said, the salt represents our evil karma and the water represents our good karma. So if you do a lot of good karma, it dilutes the effect of your evil karma. After all, this karma ripening is just remembering. If you remember some evil that you did, then you feel regret. And then if you remember some good that you did, you feel happy, right? For example, if a student studied very hard, and then when the results are announced, he got straight A's for all his subjects, he feel very happy. That's the karma ripening. So, not all karma will ripen, The Buddha said not all karma will ripen. The karmas that ripen first are those heavy karmas. Heavy karmas. Suppose you did very evil, you will remember it first, right? If you did very good deeds, exceptionally good deeds, for example, you were exceptionally good to your mother or your father, that stays in your memory. So you feel happy. So those things that are important, we remember them. So if you say you have done some evil deeds, for example, when I was a small boy, I used to shoot birds. Not because I hated birds, but because I loved birds so much that I was so greedy, I wanted to possess the bird. So, when we do a lot of good karma, it sort of covers up our evil karma. We remember more of the good deeds rather than the evil deeds we did. So in that way, because we have forgotten those small evil deeds we did, it doesn't ripen, it doesn't surface. That is why the more good we do, the better for us. Sometimes life is also like that, sometimes like we are in, maybe because of the recession, our karma is not so good that we are also suffering. There are some people that karma is so good that even in times of recession, they are still riding high. I know some people like that because I know they are very good people. So because our karma is not so good, because of recession, we are suffering. So if we understand the Dhamma, then we still continue to do whatever good we can. Then whatever evil, the karma ripening, it will wear off. It will wear off, and then if we do good deeds, it will boost us up again. In other religions, they talk about God. They talk about this unseen force in the world. We also believe in that. Only thing we don't call it God. We call it Dhamma. Dhamma in a way can be said to be nature. So it is very important to understand how nature works. If you understand how nature works and you follow how nature works, you won't suffer. For example, we know the law of gravity tells us that anything that you drop will fall, right? So if you don't believe in this law of gravity, you want to defy it. You go and climb a 20-story building, and you go and jump off, and you think you want to fly like a Superman. There's some children like that, after seeing the TV Superman show, they go and jump off the window. But they fall like a stone. So the Buddha said, whether you believe in Dhamma or you don't believe in Dhamma, you are still bound by the laws of Dhamma. So it is just laws of nature only. So the Buddha took all this trouble to explain to us Dhamma is for the very purpose, so that we don't collide with the laws of nature and we don't suffer. For example, some people who don't understand the law of nature, they think, oh, I commit adultery, I'm not hurting anybody. There's nothing wrong with it because I'm not hurting anybody. But the law of nature is such that if you commit adultery, you have to suffer for it. So if you understand that, then you become frightened. Then you don't do this kind of thing. Some people also, they don't believe in all these things about Dhamma and all that. And they dare to cheat people, dare to do things that other people dare not do. That's why it is said by the Buddha that human beings have one peculiarity about them. They are very brave. It's very brave. You can take it in the good sense and you can take it in the bad sense. You can take it in the good sense, in the sense that some people, they are brave. They can even sacrifice their life to save somebody, to do something good. Now on the bad side, there are some people, they are so brave, they dare to do extremely evil things. For example, like last time the refugees who came out from Vietnam, they tried to escape, and some of them were caught by these pirates in the sea. And then some of the women were raped, and the men were thrown into the sea to feed the sharks. And maybe because these people don't understand the Dhamma, when the sharks are eating that man, maybe they clap their hands and they laugh. After hearing the Dhamma and we still go the wrong way, the reason for that is that the Dhamma has not penetrated. And why has the Dhamma not penetrated us? Because we have a lot of delusion. And this delusion comes from 5 things that cover us. It envelops us. These are called the 5 hindrances. These 5 hindrances, the first one is sensual desire. Second one is ill will or anger. Third one is sloth and torpor, sleeping too much. Fourth one is restlessness and worry. Fifth one is doubt. So these 5 things cover us. And the only way to get rid of these 5 things, the Buddha said, is to attain jhana. Attain a state of one-pointedness of mind, where your mind becomes so tranquil, and you go inside your mind, so tranquil that these 5 hindrances automatically come down. If a person meditates and attains even upachara samadhi, near assess concentration or threshold concentration, near to jhana, where the mind becomes quite still and becomes bright, then he will notice that this anger of his drops very much. And also the lust also drops very much. So that's why the Buddha said, when we practice the Dhamma, we can see for ourselves that it is something that really works. It's not like a promise of heaven. If you practice the Dhamma well, and you are going to be reborn as a heavenly being, even now you feel happy like a heavenly being. It's because we can achieve it here and now. That's why the Buddha said, if you practice and you don't get it now, how can you think that you are going to get it in the next life? Because some of these Brahmins, they don't believe in the Buddha, they follow a different religion, and then they used to come and argue with the Buddha that they are walking the path, they were going to bring them to rebirth as Brahma. And the Buddha asked them questions like, is Brahma interested in sex? They said no. Then this person that you say is going to be reborn as Brahma, is he interested in sex? Then he said yes. Then it's different. Then the Buddha said, Brahma, does he have moral conduct? Does he kill? Does he steal and all this? Does he drink liquor and all that? They said no. He has moral conduct. Then this person, does he have moral? He doesn't have moral conduct. How, if he is not behaving like Brahma now, how can he be reborn as Brahma in future? Isn't it? So you got to behave as a heavenly being now to make sure that you are already on earth. You are already behaving like a deva. Then sure enough you'll be reborn as a deva. Otherwise, it's just a false promise.
It means meditation is compulsory, like a must for Buddhism. Because through meditation you can get it to 5 places.
Oh yeah. And then samatha meditation. Nowadays people don't understand. They put down samatha meditation and they think that vipassana meditation is important. The Buddha always stressed samatha meditation in the suttas. Why is the 4 great heavenly kings and 33 gods interested in human beings? There is a reason for it. The reason is that some of us are going to be reborn there, and they want to know how many of us are going to be reborn there. So if they see more human beings keeping the precepts, law-abiding, charitable, and all that, then they are very happy. They say, our population is going to increase. But if they see many of us are not keeping the precepts, then they're not happy because their population is not going to increase. That's the reason. I've read somewhere there is an Indian belief that for every precept we keep, there is a spirit that will protect us. What we call Kuai Yin, Kui Jin. So the more precepts you keep, the more the better your moral conduct, the more these spiritual beings will protect you.